Hey sailors, I'm Alex, this is Mandy. We live on a boat because we want freedom and find happiness. We choose to live life on our own terms, taking credit for our successes and paying the tolls of our shortcomings. We're starting a family now and get ready to cross an ocean with a baby. We're preparing the boat in Gran Canaria on the Canary Islands, where most transatlantic sailors start their crossing. Subscribe and join us as we turn our boat into a home that takes us far. Quite a while ago, we upgraded our Bimini.
You want to tell us something about the Bimini?
Yeah. We got one that is made for a 43-foot Jeanneau.
And it was from a Jeanneau Sun Odyssey 43-footer. But after a bit of bending,
we worked it a bit and fitted on our 36-foot Beneteau. Now it is charmingly oversized, but it gives us a spacious cockpit and plenty of shadow. It was one of the best upgrades we did. To mount it, we added a strut that attaches to our tow rail. And with the right combination of bolts and spacers, we got a sturdy connection with a small footprint. We didn't want to put it on the deck because that's where we walk. Now, more than a year later, this is what salty air did to it.
the minor pain point was the connection of the Bimini on the tow rail. We had an extra strut because we did our own construction and it's homemade. And the best way to do it was to actually get some spacers, create a little bit of a mount on the tow rail, and then just attach the Bimini connector to the bolt that went through the tow rail. But little did I know, I bought everything in stainless, but the tow rail is aluminum. So within a year, you can see that it actually ate everything around the spacer, and it looks really, really worn and ugly. And so I wanted to get rid of that. Also, the bolt was a bit too long, so you know, it was always kind of ugly. We found plastic spacers in Royal Nautic, the chandler in Gran Canaria.
These plastic spacers are made for this. They act as a barrier between two metals. So now the bolts don't touch the aluminum rail and everything will stay shiny and new.
So now everything's gonna be decoupled from the aluminum. We're gonna have plastic spacers in the middle and a stainless screw bolt that then holds the piece in place. It's gonna be pretty and it will not galvanically corrode.
I really did not expect a problem here, but the two different metals touching over the course of a sailing season really showed the effect of corrosion. It didn't turn into a serious problem and it was an easy fix, but I wanted to show you this. It was a revelation and a reminder to be more attentive when working with metals on a boat. When we are offshore and need to go to the foredeck, we tether ourselves onto Jackstay lines. These lines go alongside the deck so we can walk back and forth. And until today, we attach those to the cleats. Now we add some deck hardware to improve the system for our ocean crossing.
Hello. Today we have a deck hardware project. We got two of those. Wishard pad eyes, made in France, drop forged and ISO normed for lifelines and tether fastening points. The same ones we already have in the cockpit, and we like them a lot, so we got those instead of the cheapy ones. Also because our life depends on it in case we actually need the lifelines. And next to that I got some nice stainless hardware, a long bolt, because the deck is actually quite thick. I didn't expect that. When we drilled the first hole, because we did already, I realized 30 millimeters does not provide enough grip on the bottom for the nut. So I got 50, that fits nicely. Got a big spacer and a locking nut 3 times for each. And this is gonna be what keeps us alive on deck, I believe. I'm gonna do one hole first, drill it, put the screw through it, so I know where it actually centers, because it always moves a bit. Then I'm gonna do the other holes, and I think I'm just gonna go through with the piece in place, so I actually have the perfect spots for it. I'm gonna take everything off again and countersink the top, so I don't have any crackles when I actually put some force on it and bring it together. And yeah, we also have some butyl to seal everything. It's like little Play-Doh clay, which is pretty cool. So it's gonna be a first today. The pad eye comes with a bottom rubber seal already. It's a really nice piece. The bolt fits really nicely and countersinks perfectly. So that's gonna be flat. And if we don't need to use it, we can just flap it down again. So these are our jackstays. They actually measure really well from the forward cleat. So I'm gonna put them in and it's gonna end up on the winch, I promise.
When we did our sailing in the Med, we just tied extra line to extend the jackstay to both of our cleats. Now we want to have the perfect jackstay setup. For us, this means looping the jackstay around the bow cleat with a small footprint. We then bring it back inside the rig so we can walk front to back on the top deck without obstruction or retethering. On the stern, the jackstay will then be attached to the new pad eye instead of the cleat, so we can use the cleat to tie off our preventer line.
Perfect. We're going to attach it somewhere here. We're not going to put it in the middle, but further here, also in case we need to drive, like we put a line through here to the front. That could happen. We don't want to have that interfere, so it's going to be here somewhere.
Don't put it there.
Why?
If it falls over, it's in the water. Just put it inside. No, that's not the smart one. That's how we lose stuff.
Yeah, maybe. Weirdest thing, because if I line it up now, the second marking is different. I will never understand this.
Yeah, that's why I put a screw in now and then drill the second hole, because otherwise this has happened before with the hydro vane. Yeah, that seems good.
Yeah. Oh, no.
What?
What is that? Why is it crooked?
No, it's crooked.
Why is it crooked? Are you serious? Come on. How is that even possible?
Yoo-hoo! That looks better, right?
That's fine.
Nice.
Okay, let's countersink it.
Woo-hoo!
So that's my little countersink hole drill.
We got some butyl from somebody here in the marina, which is some pretty cool stuff. It's basically like, I don't know,
Clay.
Play-Doh. It's really cool.
Alright, let's get some of this Play-Doh and put it around the screw heads. Pushing it in until I can see the thread again. And also a bit on the head. I don't even need a nut.
It's stuck.
No.
So I just took out all the excess butyl that came out of the screws. You can see there's still some left. I'm probably going to be fiddling around with that for a while. And then I also have to take out the excess that came from outside the pad eye, which is a little bit of a hassle, but at least that means that it's everywhere. That's good.
So that looks good. There's a bit excess, but I don't really bother. see if it fits. Well, come on. And there we go. Nice and snug on the side. Perfectly aligned. Going inside the rigging so we can walk on the upper deck and straight to the cleat without obstructions. That looks very good. So now we just clip in when we need to go. The Genoa sheet will either run outside or it will even be pulled out and run through the back fairlead back onto the winch. So in no case do we need to clip, unclip to get around the Genoa sheets. Looks good. We've been in Gran Canaria for about 2 months. It's unbelievable. Today's our last day and we just wanted to check if we have everything we need. So we realized we need to put a life raft on the outside. First, to get some space in the locker for fuel or anything else. Second, because it's just easy to launch. So we checked online. Prices vary actually quite extensively, between 160 and 300 euros. So we checked the chandler with high hopes. Honestly, this guy has freaking everything. It's amazing. So last day, last minute, this is usually a project, but here it's like a 10-minute thing. This chandler, it's Christmas. With a marine radio, we can send a distress message to nearby ships containing GPS information and nature of distress. With the push of a button. But our marine radio is semi-old. That means that we need an extra external GPS antenna that connects to the VHF, so the VHF has this GPS information data. Otherwise, we would have to manually input those GPS coordinates every 30 minutes or so it's updated when we actually need to send a distress message. No one really does that. Everybody should have a GPS antenna in their VHF. So usually GPS antennas come with an LNB connector and they connect to, I don't know, a chart plotter or something, but for VHF, it's different. They have external GPS receivers if you don't have a built-in GPS in your VHF already. So you always need to supply another GPS antenna for your next device if you don't have the new NMEA 2000 standards, which older boats usually don't have. We have the 0183 standard, and if we refit everything, we're gonna be bankrupt. So we just slowly add little devices to our existing systems, and this is the external GPS receiver for the VHF. You need that because if you put a distress call on your VHF, then you want this to have also location information, and for the past 2 years we didn't have it. It's fine because we have different means of communicating and doing a distress, but if we do a crossing, we want everything to be done, you know? So we got this one too. It's actually the only one that's affordable-ish, and the only one that we found. It's 70 bucks, all the others are ridiculously more expensive, and this GPS receiver does not have your LNB connector, but 4 wires that you need to solder or crimp yourself because there's no connector. Somehow, Ecom or Cobra or all the VHF people decided you don't click those in, you solder it yourself. So connecting this antenna is quite easy. There's 4 cables, red, black, which is positive and negative of the battery, and green and yellow, which are the connections for the data. Following common sense and the manual, we connect red to red, black to black, yellow to yellow, and green to green. It's a 5-minute project. Now I'm going to show you how I connected those cables in a really cool way with Sopobi solder connectors. But I'm just gonna slide that over. Hope it stays in place. And then in the middle you have a little bit of tin, and if you heat that up carefully, the tin will melt. It will make a solder connection, and then this outside piece is actually shrink tube, and then I have another piece of shrink tube to cover that additionally. So that should be a very secure connection. never really worked, honestly, but like you get better at stuff. There's a chance that you burn it and it starts burning actually. The plastic starts smoking and then it's always a waiting game. Then you get impatient and then you start burning it.
Yep.
It's not the easiest. Like they advertise it as the fun, great thing to do.
And
here's
easy.
the big one. Here, look at that. Whoop. Now maybe it makes more sense to you. But
it doesn't work
it's
that
a
well.
nice idea, you know.
But it could work better. Done?
Yeah, that's done.
Great.
Okay, and this one now is the connection for the actual device. I'm gonna do that tomorrow. In the end, it turned out the way I did that, green on green and yellow on yellow, did not work. We tried to trace the fault to the VHF, to the connection, to the unit, but everything seemed fine. And we asked ourselves, so well, how long does it take until the GPS starts transmitting? Because you always have like a boot up time or something. But after hours, we didn't get any signal until I looked on the website of NMEA and saw this graph. And then I knew NMEA is shit fucked up. I had a hunch when looking at this, so with like 2 options left and nothing to lose, I just twisted the connection. So now I have yellow, green, green, yellow, and somehow one is transmitting, the other one's receiving, so it's kind of logical that they are like twisted, which it isn't, but it worked. So if you ever need to install this particular VHF antenna to this particular radio, just switch it. It works. So the last little project I wanted to show you today was the shower drain pump button. So when we shower, we have to use a pump to get all the water out of our boat because the water line is higher than our floorboards. To do that, we use the shower drain pump and push the button. But we have to hold that button for the pump to keep pumping. The intent of this is to use less water and be careful with the resources, which is a nice idea, but it's pretty annoying when you actually just want to get all the water out. So we're going to exchange this for a rocker switch. It's a pretty simple thing. I'm not even gonna bother showing you the install because it's just, if you have a boat and you have this little clicky switch to do this, get a rocker switch because the increase in comfort because of this little switch is amazing. Alright, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. We will see you probably next week or the week after because we have a little family now and things are a bit difficult. I think other channels have similar problems. So, just, I don't know. See you next time. Thanks for watching. Oh man, I can't wait to show you all these diapers.
Subscribe and check out our other videos. They are okay. Bye!